Welcome to this episode of the Good Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Charles Good. Today, we're talking about leadership in a very real, practical way through the lens of executive coaching. My guest has worn many hats over the years: communications director, talk show host, professor, president of an international organization, and business owner. And through all that experience, she's discovered her true calling, helping leaders unlock their full potential through coaching. Dr. Karla Van Havel is an ICF certified executive and leadership coach, speaker, and strategist who works with leaders at pivotal moments in their careers. She helps them break through barriers, sharpen their leadership presence, and build stronger, more connected teams. She's also a researcher and a thought leader who brings both depth of knowledge and practical tools to the table. In our conversation today, we're going to explore what excites her about coaching, some of her powerful success stories, and talk to her about unusual challenges she's encountered. So let's dive right in. Welcome to the Good Leadership Podcast, where we explore the stories, strategies, and insights of thought leaders who inspire us to think differently and lead better. Through candid conversations and expert perspectives, we dive into the challenges, breakthroughs, and practical lessons that shape exceptional leadership. Welcome to the program, Carla.
Hi, Charles. Thanks so much for having me. I love being able to take this time and just sit at the table with you and have this discussion. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thank you, Carla, for being on the program. You've worn so many hats over the years. Why coaching, and what really excites you about being a coach?
Oh, it's so fun, Charles. Like you said in your intro, I've done so many different things over the years. I've had lots of different experience in lots of different areas. And I came to a time back during COVID when some changes needed to be made, flexibility needed to be used. We needed to be a little more agile. And I kind of sat back and was like, okay, where do I want to go next? What do I really want to do? At the time, I was doing a lot of international speaking, and I loved doing that. I still do that. But I wanted to add something to the plate, and that's where I came across coaching. And my work has always been with leaders and executives, so it was a natural fit for me to go into that area. And I'll tell you, Charles, through the years that I've been doing this and the work that I've done and the studies I've done, I've come to love it. I love talking to people, finding out what makes them tick, finding out how I can support them and how I can help them and how I can shine the light on them and their journey. So it's a lot of fun. Have you ever worked with a coach, Charles?
I have at various times, but I don't have much experience on that end of it. But I know from firsthand experience and from the experiences of others how powerful that can be and how crucial it is to everyone's development, especially leaders.
What was your favorite thing about coaching?
Having that back and forth and having someone really actively listen to what I have to say, to my issues, to my concerns, not always trying to give advice. So often you get the leader, the mentor that you have, whoever you're asking advice for or wanting to share information, they just want to give you more information and more solutions, not helping you discover what really truly fits and works for you.
An executive coach can be kind of like having your own private, safe, and confidential sounding board. The higher up you get in a leadership position, the lonelier we often become. It can be a lonely journey up to the top. And sometimes you just need a sounding board and time. That's the other thing we need time to sit down and think. We get so busy doing that sometimes we miss out on that strategic thinking. And so when you go through coaching, it can be a great opportunity to think, to come up with your own solutions. You know your topic the best. You are your own expert, right? But through coaching, we can sometimes shine a light on that, help you see things in different ways, and give you that time and space and that safe, supportive environment to really think and grow and bloom when you can become so much more. So if you're on that trajectory and you want to be a leader and you really want to move forward, coaching is something that can really help get you there.
You said something that was so relevant and timely in the fact that as you move up higher and higher in an organization, it's lonelier and lonelier. People don't give you that honest advice or that feedback that you need. So having an executive coach is so critical to encourage you to develop further and to be able to share open and honest feedback with you on things that you could improve upon. Talk to me more about kind of those pivotal moments, and if you could share maybe a powerful success story from your coaching that you've really gotten them to open up and share and have that type of conversation that they feel is very valuable and will help their development.
So I'll tell you, just to kind of go back to what you started saying there too, one of the differences I like to think of the relationship as not coach and client, but as thought partners. Because as a coach, I'm really a partner on this journey and we walk it together. When I think about, I call them walk on water stories, right? The wow stories. which are always fun and impressive, right? And there's lots of different stories that I would love to tell. I'm just going to grab onto one because it's something that I see quite commonly in coaching where people are dealing with overwhelm or time management. And a lot of leaders say, well, time management, I got that down right. But when I say, okay, well, when do you go home each day? And I'm going to ask you this, Charles. When do you get to go home?
I go home probably at a normal time, but I work when I go home. So it's not as if I'm going home and leaving work at the office.
And that's pretty common. A lot of leaders, if they're staying at the office, they're often staying late, sometimes till 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock even. I've seen that. Others are working once they get home. But when you think about what are you missing when you're doing that? When you say yes to something, you're also saying no to something. And so balance is really important. So when I work with people and sometimes they want to work on time management, we can work on all different topics, but this is one that I've seen come up, overwhelm as related to time management. So I would give the example of one of the stories that I have. A gentleman that I was working with, um, for a while, he really was struggling with this. And one of the things that was a concern to him is he had two small children and he was missing watching those kids grow up. The entire summer had gone by. They hadn't taken any trips. He wasn't spending time with his kids. It was like, "Daddy, who's that?" Right? Sometimes that happens. Even when he's there, he's not there. That's probably kind of something you're going through too, because you're here, you're doing your work. So it's something that we worked through. We did a lot of different things to do that. We did a time management study just to kick things off. It's really important to get that data and pull that into the coaching. So we did a full 2-week time management study with no judgment. And then from there, we looked at where energy is highest and where it's lowest. So we could figure out how to best spend the time. We also went through and said, okay, with the time you're spending, where are you spending it? Are these actually strategic goals that are in alignment with your job and position with your organization? Or are they things that are possibly time wasters? Are they distractors? Or are they possibly things that could actually be delegated and should really be done by someone else? So we kind of broke it down and looked at that. The end result of this is he got back 7 hours a week, which is almost like getting a week back, a whole day back in your week, in that he was actually able to take a vacation and take some time off and get to spend some time with his kids before they went back to school. So those are memories and time that he gained by being able to better manage his overwhelm and his time.
Do you find that a lot when you start the coaching engagements that if you do these audits, and in this case, a time audit, that it really makes them more self-aware of where their time is going in this case?
Yeah, it's looking at the gap. So whether it's an assessment, because I am also a Wiley authorized partner, so I do assessments. I also have my own assessment that was validated and published back in 2016. So I work with assessments that we can also use to help say, okay, here's where we are now, and here's where we want to be. And it can also be done through a leader's dashboard, through a 360. There's lots of different tools, MBTI, Myers-Briggs. We have lots of different tools within Center for Dynamic Knowledge that we use to help figure out where you are and where you go. But it can also be done simply through some good, solid coaching questions. So sometimes it's those questions of where are you now? What's your topic that you want to work on? And what's your ideal? What does your ideal day look like? What do you look like? Who are you at this date and time? So sometimes those questions can really get people thinking about those things and it helps to identify the gap. And then through coaching, we can work on that gap. And then once we reached our goal, there may be even other goals that we want to reach.
Coaching is such a broad profession with so many different types of coaches with different approaches. Love to know what really is in your coaching toolbox. What makes you unique in this space?
I talked a little bit about that already with the assessments, and you mentioned that in your intro. My skills, my background, I've been in academia. I taught at a business school at the university, been in a C-suite office. I've done everything from broadcast journalism as a news director. I've even changed the toilet paper roll when it needed changing at the office. A little bit of everything. So I bring this broad perspective to the picture. Also, I think when you're choosing a coach, something that's really important is to find somebody who's the right fit. Somebody who you feel really hears you and supports you and listens to you. And I want to clarify something too, because a lot of people say, well, you're not in my industry. You've never worked specifically in uh, engineering or in finance or whatever area it is. And it's, you know what? Coaches can coach in all different industries because we don't present to be the expert. Again, you're the expert. As I'm the thought partner. I'm here to open up that area, be the sounding board. Yes, I'll share ideas and experiences, and I'll share resources and tools, but it's really up to you. It's your journey and where you want to go. Really, it's about finding that fit and that person that you can relate to and talk to and feel like, yes, this is a safe space. And this person has a framework, a groundwork, an area that I can relate to and understand. So, like when I come into coaching, I really focus on positive psychology. And one of the things with the ICF ethics and explanations is that we are not therapists. We are not looking to the past. We are looking into the future and how to move forward. And when you're finding that right fit, you want to make sure that it's somebody that can help you in that area, that it's a coach who's actually helping you to move forward. So you want to already be in a great place, and then you're ready to get even greater.
I see that a lot as well, is that you look at coaches and you think, okay, I have a coach and I need to just make it work with that coach, but you have the choice. And you bring up an important point as well. They don't have to be in the same industry. Many people feel like they do. And not only do they have to be in the same industry, but they have to have a senior role to yours to really connect and relate it. But you say that's not needed.
Correct. It's not needed. And, one of the great things about my company is the Center for Dynamic Knowledge. We are a small boutique coaching company, so I do have a team. So there is the opportunity. If somebody wants to work with me, they can. If someone wants to work with one of my colleagues, they can. It's finding that fit is really important. And so that's one thing I do bring to the table is I bring a team. And we want to make sure that you find the person that you fit with best because you do have the choice. It is up to you. So the goal is here to help move you forward and move positively in that direction. And that's what a coach can do for you. They can help you with that. It's a little like, I know I've talked to you about this before, Charles, but it's like the game of Clue because it works really well as a metaphor for coaching. If someone starts in the game of Clue and they start in one room, they put their piece there, all you can see is maybe two doors, maybe one door, right? That's all you see is that room. But what a coach does is it shines the light on the entire board. So you can really see, here I am, I'm in the library now. I want to get to the observatory. So maybe this is bringing back some memories of playing Clue for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Colonel
but it's
Mustard in the library with the knife, right?
you got it. And so that's where a coach can shine the light. You see the whole board and you can say, okay, here's where I want to go. And then you can see the shortest or most efficient path to get there. So that's where a coach can really help. You're still taking the path. The coach isn't doing it for you. I'm not moving your game piece. You're doing it. And you're making the choice which path you want to go to. You're making the choice which room. You're making the choice who you think did it or with what tool they did it with. I'm shining the light though, so you can clearly see where everybody else is on the board, where you are, where your goal is, how you want to get there. So that's where a coach can really play in and help you in your leadership journey. Are you ready to play Clue again?
My kids and grandkids now love it. So it's been a game that's, I think, timeless for us.
Yeah.
I love that analogy. I often feel this way, and I've heard other people say it as well. Am I ready for a coach? Is it time for me to have a coach, or do I need to do things before I get a coach? I think that causes some people not to want to reach out. They feel like for whatever reason, they're not ready.
That is such a good question. And you do need to be ready. If I say this like the question you might want to ask yourself to find out if you're ready is where do I want to be? Who do I want to be? And how can coaching help with that? And so when you're looking at your future and moving forward, say you're already moving forward, you've been doing great, things are going really well, and you want to take that next step, that's when it might be time to call on a coach. Like I said, we're not therapists. So if you're working through past things, that's not when you call us. You want to make sure that what your goal is here is to move forward. And in that case, it's looking at where do you want to be? And sometimes you need a little clarity around it. It's okay if it's not completely clear when you go into coaching, but you have an idea that yes, you want to move forward, you want to do something different, maybe you want to change, maybe you want to look at a situation differently. So it doesn't necessarily mean your career is changing, but maybe something within your position, within your role. Maybe you have a strategic problem you're looking at and you need to look at it in a different way to come up with some other solution. We all get stuck. Stickiness is something that happens. But when you have a sounding board and a supporter who can allow you that time and space in a safe, confidential environment, then you can really look at it and say, yes, this is where I want to go. This is my situation. They say the story of the elephant, right? If you're facing the elephant, what do you see? You just see the face and the feet. If you can circle all the way around the elephant, you're going to see a lot of different sides and get the full picture that I'm looking at an elephant, right?
Right.
It's not a rhino. It's not some other large animal. You can actually see fully all the way around that it's fully an elephant. So sometimes the situation is something like that where you just need a different perspective on something you're working on. There could be all different situations for calling in a coach, but it is important to make sure that you are ready, that you're open, ready for change, open to ideas, and open to having these discussions. So that's kinda where you find the fit. What has been your biggest thing in working? Because you said you worked with coaches in the past, Charles. When you worked with coaches and you went to them, what made you choose to go ahead and get the coaching at that time?
I was ready for a change. I needed to change, and I wasn't able to do it on my own. I didn't see those blind spots. Having someone else in a supportive environment talk me through those, be a good sounding board was essential because, like we said at the beginning of the conversation, as you go up higher and higher in any organization, it's hard to get that feedback. I always wonder too, with the advent of AI and technology, Carla, and love to get your thoughts on this, is really how should people do it? Should it be HI and AI? Are there certain things that human coaching does better than AI coaching? Because I see with a lot of younger individuals, they often prefer the technology route.
So, when I do coaching, it's very human-based, it's one-on-one. Unless requested, I don't even have AI on during the coaching call because I like for people to really feel safe and confidential. I like to stay human centered and I like to turn everything off unless requested by my thought partner or the client. So, when should they seek out AI? When should they seek out human centered coaching? It depends on what you want. If you're looking for more of a consultant type of coach, if you're looking for somebody to tell you what to do or to throw ideas at you, then AI is great. It'll give you resources if you want something really quick. So, say it's a specific problem. I want to write an email to my boss. How should I write it? Great. AI can spit something out at you. But if you want to sit back and take some time and really plan strategically and think about this email, where's it going to go? Who's it going to go to? What could the impact be? From that impact, where could it go and where could it lead? Who else? Who are the other stakeholders in this situation? When you really want to think it out, that's where a coach can be really helpful. We can ask you the questions that help inspire you to think through these things. So AI definitely has a place and has a role. And for many people, if that's where they're comfortable again, it still falls down to the fit. Even if AI is your fit or a different coach is your fit, that's okay. So you want to find what matches for you and what meets your needs. But if you really want to have that discussion and you really want a thought partner and someone who could be a sounding board and be there for you while you work out where I'm going, the stakeholders, the possible results, really looking at this long term. That's where a coach can be very helpful. So, is it a big picture situation or is it a matter of a specific tactic or activity that you need to do? That might be a good way to look at it.
I agree with you. It's nice to have that human-centered approach to coaching and maybe use AI as the in between the coaching conversations. As the director of coaching services with the Institute for Management Studies, you do a lot of group coaching with the follow-up programs at many of the IMS programs that teach soft skill development for new and emerging leaders all the way up to senior level leaders. Talk to me about the impact that those have had and how those group coaching sessions are structured.
So, the group coaching, we're calling them the practice labs now. These are a situation where many people come in, we look at case studies and scenarios, and we follow up on the tools, key concepts, and tactics that were discussed in the previous session. So it's a build on. We have a main session where people come and they're learning something, some skill or thought process, and then they have this group coaching afterwards and in that, we look at these scenarios, we go through, we dissect them, and we work with peer to peer learning. So it's bringing everybody into the group into a conversation, and we learn and grow together. Also, the nice thing about the IMS practice labs is it offers an opportunity to network. So, the benefit of the group coaching is really learning from many different voices, hearing many different ideas, and very different thoughts. Now, the advantage with the individual coaching is, of course, it is that safe, confidential environment. It's one on one, it's personalized, it's customizable, and it's really about if I were coaching you, for example, Charles, it would be about your journey specifically. Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? Let's talk about your identity and how you associate with all these different stakeholders. So that's the personalized approach of the one-on-one, whereas the group is more about a specific topic that everybody's coming together to learn more about and how they can implement it and how they can use that.
When you're really adept and skillful in both spaces, I've seen you in the group coaching sessions. You do an excellent job, and it really connects deeper with the individual's journey that they're on, the material that you're going over. So well done. Before we end our conversation today, is there one thing you want listeners of the podcast here to really take with them about coaching moving forward?
So, coaching does take courage. And when you come and you're ready to actually ask those courageous questions and listen to your own answers, that's when you're really ready. So, I would encourage potential thought partners to take the time to ask themselves the questions of where do they want to be? How do they get there? What do they need? Where's the gap? Right? What are their blind spots? Ask those questions. And then, are you ready to listen to the answers? And that's where a coach can come in and help you on your journey to work through some of those questions and find your own answers. I don't give you the answers. I'm not doing the job for you. I'm not moving your puzzle piece around on the clue board, but I shine the light on it so that you can find your own answers that best fit you.
Great advice, Carla. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remind our listeners how they can get in contact with you and learn more about your work.
Certainly, I'd be happy to hear from any listeners. And my website is centerfordynamicknowledge. You can also reach me by email at Karla, Karla, at centerfordynamicknowledge.com. I'd love to hear from them.
Thank you, Carla, for sharing such valuable insights, inspiration, and practical strategies to every leader tuning in. The future of leadership is already unfolding, and those who invest in real growth with coaching will shape what comes next. Until next time, keep leading boldly and keep learning. I hope this episode has provided you with valuable insights. If it has, I ask you to share it with someone who would also benefit from it. If you've been enjoying and gaining knowledge from this podcast, then subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can find all the previous episodes of the podcast and additional learning resources. You can also subscribe to the podcast on Apple or Spotify and leave up to a 5-star review.